Hi, Eric. It's Eric. I just wanted to wrap up this Camaro job. If anybody cares, I do. With the final trip to the store, we hope. So this was the connector piece that I was going to try to buy, but I would have to buy a whole radiator hose. They didn't, and I would have had to cut it. They said, "Why don't you just use the old one, dude? Wrap it up with some tape, because look at what it does." This thingy, nice ice cream truck. Oh, let me flip it. See, this is the back of my car. That's where the gas goes in, right? Take that thing off, you put the nozzle in. It flows through this little guy, which just goes right here. Boom. And then the bottom part, when I cinched it all up, I just cinch these babies down. And the tank is right here. The tank actually fits right into this. And then I just crank this down. Beep, beep, beep. That's it. Whoops. So my brother's idea was great. He goes, "Dude, since you have the tank off, if you look right there, you see that little metal kind of shiny thing? Well, that's where the tank sends the gas out of the tank. I'll show you in a minute. And it goes right there through this rubber tube and that travels the entire length of the car, which here it is. I know it's got blankets on it and stuff, but it's so the cat doesn't mess it up any worse than it already is. So then the fuel line comes out right here. And then it goes into this little hose. I know it's hard to see. I just took this off, used my air compressor, blew air through this line to blast out any garbage, any sediment, debris, blew it out, right? Thinking if I put a rag under on the back that it would be fine. I just blew gas all over the garage. It's like a big old circle. So anywho, it goes down this hose to your fuel pump, which is right here. That's pumping back and forth to then send the gas through the tube right to your filter, take out any of the last imperfections is brand new, which then sends the gas to the carburetor. The carburetor then sucks the gas in, explodes inside the motor. That's what makes your car run. So here's the end of the tank. So I remember that piece that I showed you on the back attaches right here. Clamp down, fill it up with gas. This is the tank. It's going to be up under. I'll take a video of that too. I tape these straps down instead of using glue. I just use double-sided tape because as soon as I put it up into the body, the cavity of the car, the straps underneath fit right here are going to hold it up. So these things just stop it from squeaking. So that's it. This is the sending unit. There's only that one wire that was hanging by the gas tank. That's what pops on right here. That's the power sending to your gas gauge. How much gas do you have? Depending on that black floaty thing that I showed on the other video, however high it is, it sends the message to your gauge. And then this, you just bolt onto the frame of the car, which completes the circuit. This is the ground wire. So it just completes the whole electrical circuit. Now mine, I pulled off last video, was shredded right about here. It was never connected. So no wonder I didn't know how much gas I had. The stupid thing wasn't even hooked up. So the next video, or the end, will be, I'm going to take the tank, connect it with my little hose guy, whatever I did with him. Anyways, the hose goes onto the end of here. I have a rubber hose somewhere that I just got at the store. The rubber hose goes on the end of here with a clamp. That rubber then will go to there and it will connect to the thing that I just blew out in the back of the car. So that means gas is going to flow out of the tank from the sending unit through here, through the tube that I just bought, which is about 1 foot long. Then it goes to that metal line that I just blew out all over the garage with my... So I am positive that perfectly clean, brand new gas will be getting all the way to my fuel pump, which is right down here. Now, there's only 2 possibilities if this car doesn't start. There's only one possibility. The fuel pump is dead. But in my experience, a mechanical fuel pump is moving back and forth like this to suck the gas. It just doesn't die. It takes forever. And if it does, the whole shaft has to break on the inside, and then you have to take that fuel pump off and just replace it. It's not really that hard to get to. It would take a minute, but it's only a couple of bolts. But in the past, whenever I've had an issue like that in my Dodge truck, the seal broke and the entire shaft, and gas is gushing out of the thing like you know when your fuel pump goes out, okay? So I know it isn't because this thing's been running for years. So everything on this motor is ready to go. Aftermarket ignition, all of that is my brother and I did all of that. So it's hooked up to this box, so it makes it run more efficient than it did back in the 60s. So we took this big motor, which is a 350, out of an old 77 Blazer, which my ex-wife drove in high school, and we rebuilt it. So this motor right here only has a couple of thousand miles on it. It's fairly new. If you actually compared it to my wife's car, this has less miles on this car than my wife's 2015, because we just don't drive it that much. So again, the last video coming is I'm buttoning this bad boy up, connecting the tubes, putting up the tank, and to do that, I kind of had a tricky way, or I watched a couple of videos and we'll see if it works, because I'll do a video of it too, is you take this big old huge jack, if you can see it right here. I borrowed this from my buddy Carlos. It's a 3-ton jack. They're pretty expensive, but you know, if you do a lot of work on cars and stuff, it's nice to have. I'm going to jack the tank up so that it fits into the body cavity right here. See these straps? That's what holds it up. I just put up the tank. I'm gonna jack it up on the jack with this piece of wood, so it's kind of floating in here. And then I'll put the straps up and torque it down. And that's it. But I'll show an actual video when it's done. It's super hard when I'm out here by myself to get, to try to record something and try to do it at the same time. I'm not that guy. Oh, here's the tube I was telling you about. See? Fuel line hose. So this is brand new fuel line hose. It's a little bit too long, obviously, so I'm just gonna pop that bad boy onto the end of here, and then it clamps down with these little clamps that just use nothing but a screwdriver. And then this side's gonna connect to the thing that I just blew out on the back of the car. That's the only connection. So that's how easy it is. Gas is being pumped from the fuel pump, sucks it out of here into this tube, going through this tube, going through your fuel line, and coming right up to the motor. There shouldn't be anything stopping me now, baby. So that's it. I'm done for a minute. I'm gonna put the, like I said, hose on next. And if I didn't say before, these little anti-squeaky things, I put up one on here because this was rubbing slightly and I was afraid the vibration of the car, you would start hearing like, brrr, like some kind of rattle. So I just put a chunk there too. And then with these little stuck down, that'll stop it from touching the bottom of the car. No squeaks. So what seemingly sounds like a really hard job, you'd be like, you got to take the whole gas tank out. You got to check your fuel, this and that. It wasn't really that bad. I mean, I'm just being real careful because when I put it back, I want it back right. And, you know, it's not a show car or anything, but I wanted to be able to drive it. So, and I got 3 gallons of gas out in the driveway right there. So if I get this bad boy back in a couple hours, we're dumping some gas in here. I got my battery ready to connect. See, trick. When you're letting your car sit for a while, disconnect the battery. Sometimes when the circuit's connected, a tiny slow drain can happen, and then you'll try to start your car, it'll be dead. So I'll hook my battery up, charge it with one of the other cars just to be sure it's loaded, and then fire the key. And the way this started last time, the second I got gas pumping, this baby will be running forever. So we'll see. I have a lot of confidence after watching a bunch of YouTube videos and seeing what I've done. I feel comfortable that I'm definitely going to get gas all the way to the fuel pump. There's no doubt about it. Now, getting from the fuel pump the last 2 feet to the carburetor, that's where it'll be a mystery. If there's nothing happening here, then I'll go to that route because that's the only thing left. The fuel system of a 1967 Camaro is about as basic as it gets. I just showed you the entire fuel system. It literally starts at the tank and ends at the carburetor. It's nothing to it. It doesn't have any weird vacuum lines. It doesn't have any weird exhaust this and that. It's old. It's a 67. Back in the day, there is motor, gas, and brakes. And that's about it. This is the car that in the 60s people would go get their groceries with in a Camaro. So now they're pretty collectible cars, you know? So I'm going to keep this one forever. So I would like to look at it now. You can see it used to have a beautiful paint job 20 years ago. It was red with black racing stripes. It didn't have cat beds all over it. So when we get done today, I should be able to push this out into the driveway, put some gas in it, and we'll see where we're at. If I get to it today, hopefully. I'm running out of motivation right now. I'm sweaty. Even though it's not even that hot, I'm sweating a lot. All right. I hope, man. The Matthews curse runs deep. Every car I've ever owned, because I'm attached to it, usually something explodes or something blows up or something is weird. This car, there is nothing that can be weird because it's so basic. It's so simple. So when we check back, dude, even if nothing works, even if no gauges work, the motor should start. And you should be able to hear the purr of this manly machine. So I'll check back, hopefully today. This is only for me anyways, dude. I know nobody's watching this. But I want to get this thing fired up, dude. I'll be happy. All right, I'll check back later.